Good morning and welcome to Light Reflections from First Friends. We are glad you have chosen to join us for this virtual worship service and hope you find it beneficial to your spiritual journey. We consider this an abbreviated version of our in-person meeting for worship for those wishing to join us from a distance. If this is your first time joining us, First Friends is a thriving, progressive Quaker meeting in the city of Indianapolis, Indiana. We consider ourselves a loving, inclusive, joyous gathering of people seeking to know truth under the leadership of God's Spirit. All are welcome, no matter race, age, cultural background, sexual orientation and identity, marital status, physical and mental ability, family structure, or economic circumstance. Our hope is that through this worship experience, you will discover our faith community is unlike any other, where silent meditation is as important as the spoken word, where we emphasize the importance of one's personal encounter with the divine, and where we seek to support one another as we discover truth together. Now we invite you to center down and enter this virtual worship space with us.
Good morning, I'm Jed Kay, and I'm delighted as clerk of the Friends Educational Fund to honor the Friends Educational Fund scholars for this upcoming school year. Traditionally, we've had the opportunity to celebrate these deserving scholars in an in-person reception after one of our summertime meetings for worship. While we're all hopeful that we can continue to exit the current pandemic as many reopenings occur, out of an abundance of caution, we elected to again forego our in-person celebration and reception for this summer. That said, we would be delighted to see anyone who could join us for live meetings for worship, as we've just recently resumed these with limited capacity for the first time since last March. While we share the 2020 to 2021 scholars' names and schools on screen, I would also like to share a few words from select scholars on what they shared that the scholarship means to them. First off is Ayanna Davis. Ayanna is a senior at Providence Cristo Rey High School. This coming fall, she will be attending Ball State University to major in nursing with a minor in psychology to become a pediatric nurse practitioner. She is excited and grateful to receive this scholarship, which she says will help her become successful and the best she can be. Next up is Paris Hines. She said that growing up with a math learning disability, pursuing a college education has always been one of her goals. She says this financial support will help her close her cost gap and allow her to attend the University of Evansville, where she plans to study media and communications. She goes on to say that the intertwining of the history of the orphanage for African American children with the assets and wishes of a former slave and successful businessman, John Williams, is awe-inspiring, and we agree. She says, as an African American Hoosier, this history is something she had never known nor learned in school. She says by awarding her the Friends Educational Fund scholarship, we have lightened her financial burden, allowing her to focus on the more important aspect of school, learning. She says our scholarship's history inspires her to help others and give back to her community, and she hopes to one day help other children achieve their goals as this scholarship has helped her. Next up is Olivia Terry. Olivia, daughter of Michael and Anita Terry, graduated from North Central High School, where she participated in varsity basketball and National Honor Society. She volunteered at Anna's House Lord's Pantry and Wheeler Mission Center for Women and Children. She'll be using the Friends Educational Fund scholarship to study pre-medicine at the University of Cincinnati. She plans to continue medical school to specialize in obstetrics and gynecology. She wants to make an impact on our society, helping women have access to quality health care. We wish all of the Friends Educational Fund scholars the best of luck in their studies.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to Light Reflections. This morning I want to begin with our scripture passage from Hebrews 10, 24 to 25, from the Message. I find it a good text to emphasize my thoughts for this morning. So let's do it, full of belief, confident that we're presentable inside and out. Let's keep a firm grip on the promises that keep us going. He always keeps his word. Let's see how inventive we can be in encouraging love and helping out. Not avoiding worshiping together as some do, but spurring each other on, especially as we see the big day approaching. Well, as I mentioned in last week's sermon, we are moving into the summer months by looking at two important subjects, Sabbath rest and celebration. Last week I started us on this journey by talking about how taking time for rest can help reorient our lives after this long pandemic. This reorienting is a reconnecting with ourself, the divine, and probably the most challenging after being isolated in a pandemic, a reorienting to each other. Over the years, I've found that often when I talk about Sabbath or even rest in general, people tense up or begin to push back. Sabbath for some has a negative connotation. Everything from childhood rules and regulations to long periods of quiet stillness and boredom. But that's not all that Sabbath rest is all about. Over the years, I've come to see Sabbath as an opportunity for celebration. It's an opportunity to reorient yourself to the core of who you are, to reconnect you to your inner light, to re-engage your neighbors and friends and loved ones. Most of our week is spent doing. It is about work and production and providing for yourself and possibly your family. Even if you're retired, I often notice that you're still doing. Since we spend so much time doing, often our lives get entangled and what we do becomes our identity. Now let's be honest, the pandemic did not help this. It only exacerbated this situation. For many, the pandemic stripped away all other aspects of connection and left us dealing with life and work alone and isolated. All that was left was doing to survive. Well, many of us adapted. Some of us struggled, but all of us began to miss one aspect of life that seemed to be forced to end, that being celebration. If you look up celebration in the dictionary, you're quick to find that celebration is a concept that evokes a great deal of action. It includes descriptors such as to perform, to honor, to mark, to hold up, to observe. Celebration also speaks similarly to Sabbath in that it also includes refraining, but in this case, from one's ordinary business, or as one definition put it, a deviation from routine. One definition even highlights the sacredness and solemnity of celebration. This is why I find Sabbath rest and celebration going hand in hand. They have commonalities as well as similar foundations. Yet I have a feeling you're thinking now, wait, Bob, I don't see rest and celebration at all in the same category. And for many, that's probably true. But it doesn't have to be. If rest is to reorient us, celebration can be the response to that reorientation. Just think, when we went into the pandemic and everything began to be shut down, we had to reorient ourselves greatly. We had to see life and work, family, worship in new ways. We reoriented to our homes, to Zoom rooms, to ordering online, to cooking again, to our backyards, to virtual spaces for everything from worship to doctor's visits. And while we reoriented to this new normal, we also saw people saying things like, I seem to never stop working, or all I do now is watch the news, or I'm climbing the walls not being able to see people. Both extroverts and introverts struggled in different ways because reorienting, well, takes time. It takes something from you. It creates unexpected and unwanted change. And what usually brings us out of that is some type of celebration. In our country, we celebrate the weekend. We celebrate by going out for dinner with family, having drinks with friends, planning a date, and listening to live music. We go see movies and concerts and visit museums, go on road trips, take vacations. Yet in one fell swoop, the pandemic forced us to reorient ourselves and refrain from all forms of this type of celebration, big or small. And when this happened, we began another process, the process of grieving. One of the hardest things for me as a pastor during this time was not being able to celebrate fully the lives of those who passed away in our meeting. Just a few days before we shut down, I spent the day grieving the passing of our friend Dan Rains. Then soon after, unexpectedly came our friends Richard Mills and Kristen Noble's mother Flora and Jody and Janice's mother Kay. None of these did we properly have a chance to celebrate during this time. I performed weddings with no guests or limited attendance. We did what we could outside, but we didn't fully celebrate with one another or in our own hearts and lives. Sue and I took a moment to look back over 2020 to ponder all that the reorienting to the pandemic caused us to miss and then grieve. Our son Alex's college graduation, our son Sam's high school graduation, Sue and my 25th wedding anniversary, Sue's 25th year of teaching and my 25th year of professional ministry, and after 10 years, my recording among friends. And I could go on, but I know many of you missed milestones, anniversaries, and so much more as well. This is why, as we reorient back from the pandemic, we must find time to rest from all our doing and celebrate once again. As I spoke of in my As Way Opens article this week, and as Beth pointed out in Waiting Worship from my sermon last week, this is going to take a reorienting or shift from our focus on doing to being. We've been consumed with doing for over a year now. And as Kelsey Corder illustrated in the table I shared in my article, there are two mental modes we work within and that are often at odds with each other. These are the driven doing mode and the being mode. The driven doing mode is characterized by things that have become essential and heightened during the pandemic. Things like a sense of have to or should, or constant monitoring, or focusing on the past or the future, progressing toward goals internally and externally, and evaluating things being good or bad and what we should do with each. I know for me, those clearly describe how I reoriented myself during the pandemic. I and many others were constantly asking questions like, what do I have to do or what should I do to be safe? How do I monitor that safety? Who can I believe is telling me the truth? Why can't we go back to the way it was before the pandemic? And what does the future hold? And how can I stay focused on my goals? What are my goals now? How is this affecting my goals and outcomes? What is good in this transition? What is bad? And how might I find a way through? I know at times I became hyper-focused on questions of this nature. But when looking at the being mode, I'm realizing that to reorient myself, I first need to slow down, stop the questioning and doing, and move into a new space of being. Corder describes the being mode this way. It's not attached to a goal. It accepts and allows what is. There is no pressure to monitor. The focus is on the present moment. Feelings come into awareness and are temporary. Experience has freedom to be fresh and responsive. Now, I know some of you will say, well, this is rather ideal. And you would be right, because this is not a shift from driven doing mode to being mode, but rather a balancing out of these modes. We've spent so much time in driven doing that I would say that we have lost a lot of our being. This is yet again why we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate our being. We need to celebrate what is. We need to celebrate the fact that much of the pressure to constantly monitor our safety is being lifted. We need to celebrate our awareness and the awareness of others and come together around our new understandings of one another. We need to celebrate our freedom and all the fresh new opportunities that are ahead of us and respond with hope. And yes, we need to celebrate once again the present moment. Folks, we have grown more than we know. And I sense as we take the time to find Sabbath rest and reorient ourselves back to our relationship with self, the divine, and one another, We're going to continue to find new ways to celebrate, to revel in the present moment, to celebrate what is. I hope you will join me in the summer months to seek a balance. Keep doing, but also lean into being. Be aware, but not obsessed. Embrace the freedom and new opportunities and find ways to celebrate. I sense if we do this, we will find ourselves growing spiritually, mentally, relationally, and living into the present moment with gusto. Now, as we enter a time of waiting worship, I ask that you ponder the following queries. 1. What celebrations have I missed during this pandemic, and how has it affected me? 2. How might I seek a greater balance in my doing and being this week? And 3. In what ways do I plan to celebrate my being in this present moment?
We close this time of worship with a Quaker prayer. God, open our eyes and unstop our ears, that we may see your light and may hear your heartbeat, reflecting and resounding within our chests, in those of all our neighbors, near and far, in all creatures and plants, and in the ground we walk upon. When we finally are able to yield to the leading of your rhythm and flow, may we come to walk cheerfully over the world, answering that of you in all. Amen. Have a great week, friends.